Join me and one of my former one-to-one coaching clients, Victoria Lohman, as we chat about her absolutely amazingly beautiful salon and spa in the heart of the United States. Hey, Kansas. How, as the first hairstylist in her family, she is the most sought after businesswoman in her town, and how time management literally saved her and all her businesses. Listen in and get inspired and check out how Victoria achieved her version of success in and out of the salon and spa. Are you a beauty or barber pro looking for that push to do that thing you've always wanted to do, whether it's in or out of the salon, spa, or shop? Are you tired of not feeling good enough, smart enough, skilled enough? Are you tired of not getting a handle on your mental health, boundaries, and insecurities? I'm Christine Sherwood, the BeautyPro coach, an internationally certified coach, a salon and spa owner, and your personal Jiminy Cricket. I use my own experiences, good and bad, as a salon owner to help you be more self-aware, authentic, and forward-thinking in your approach to life, in and out of the salon. It's time to reach your version of success with the Beauty Pro Coach podcast. Let's do this. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beauty Pro podcast. I am here with our guest today, who was also a one-to-one coaching client of mine. She is absolutely fabulous. This is Victoria Rose Lohman, owner of Victoria Rose Studios. Victoria, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited.
I am so excited that you're here. Thank you for coming on. This is so awesome of you. So
Oh,
just
and
go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm so happy you invited me on. It's been so long, and I'm really excited for all this that you're doing. And this is gonna be a great addition to your brand.
Thank you so much. So tell everybody a little bit about you and how you became a stylist and how you became this amazing salon owner that you are today.
So it all kind of started back about my senior year of high school. I conned my way into getting a job at a local salon, and I absolutely fell in love with everything in the industry. And I had to work through some obstacles, but I made it to hair school, and I just had this overwhelming love for everything about it. And I quickly figured out there was things I didn't love in it, and I wanted to perfect it. And here we are.
That is so cool. So, if you feel comfortable, of course, what were some of those obstacles? What were those things that you had to overcome?
So at first, there's definitely like a perceived image of the industry, and my parents were very anti me going into the industry. And so I was basically going to get cut off, going to
Mm.
be all on my own if I chose to take that route. So I did go to college at like per their wishes for a couple years until I finally got myself a place to live. And I just knew that the college route wasn't for me. And I just said, hey, I'm doing this either way. And luckily, they jumped on board pretty quickly, but it was definitely hard to
That's,
like stand up for that myself.
yeah, of course, because you are the first and only professional hairstylist in your family, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So on my dad's side, he had a couple aunts, I guess, that were in the industry, and his perceived value of how they ran their business is one of the strong determining factors, but they're distant, so nobody in my direct family or anybody around me in my immediate family.
hmm I'm so happy that you're sharing that because I know even in my family, um, being the first beauty or barber professional, it can be very daunting. especially coming from a family of like professionals, quote unquote, doctors and lawyers and whatever it is. And they say a hairdresser. Oh my God, what? So yeah, so thank you for sharing that. So what do you, from then to now, share a little bit about what has changed from being just working behind the chair to where you are currently and what you're doing now?
So at first, when I first got out of the industry or first got out of school, I definitely was a do it all. I want to do it all. I want to be the best at it all. I did men's cuts, kids cuts, bridal styles, just any and everything. And I was brought up with the thought that the harder you work and the more things you do, the more successful you can be. And I just one day I woke up and was like, I don't think that's it. Like, you can't be a jack of all trades and be the best at something if you're trying to dabble in everything. And I had some pushback on that when I started, because I was at a commission salon where you get told what services you're doing. I was even told I was going to do pedicures and stuff like that. And when I said, no, I won't be, I definitely got labeled kind of the too good. And then I honed it down, and then COVID hit. COVID was definitely a huge turning point for me because I realized even though I had limited my services, I still was working every evening, every weekend. I had no work-life balance. I had a baby at this point, and I knew something had to change. And I also knew that the way I was hustling and bustling and double booking clients, it wasn't serving my clients. And I was like, I want to be that elevated personal experience, especially, what COVID, we were all lacking, like intimate human connection. And when we came back from it, it re-inspired me. I changed everything. I built my suite. I elevated my services. I honed my services down even further and took a crazy step and dropped 75% of my clientele to chase my one goal of being an extension artist. And then from that scary move to the next, I fell in love with a old historic building. And I was like, I've learned so much about changing the way I do services and how much my clients appreciated and valued me more with that intimate setting that I could control. I wanted to give it back and inspire more people to be their own business owner and run their business the way they saw fit. And dabbled in a few other things, but here we are.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about this building and the transformation, the impact, everything about it. I love this building. I love this story. So please share it.
So we were actually at a Labor Day parade, and we were driving our side by side through town, and I saw a for sale sign. It had been there for about 3 or 4 years. And I started peeking in the windows, and I was like, I just had this overwhelming calling to it. I knew I needed to get inside. And my husband was like, whatever, no. But I think he realized within about an hour of me being home, I was getting in that building, whether he liked it or not. And so it was actually on the market for so long because for about 50 years prior, it had been a funeral home. But this building was built in 1868. So I started this building it called to me. I started researching it, and turns out it had been all kinds of incredible things. It was once 2 buildings. I looked into the structure of it, and I knew somewhere deep under all the renovations, there was authentic 1868 brick and just all the different things that had contributed over its 150 something years. I knew it was needing life. So we went to work. I mean, it was the hardest thing we've ever done. We had to restructure walls. We had to level out floors. It took almost everything. It took everything we had, but it came back to life, and it's beautiful, and the bones and the history and the story. It's just my favorite place on earth.
I love it. I love it. So what is it? So now it is your own suite. It's a salon. It's a spa. What what have you created this building to be now?
So there are luxury salon studios. So they're double, if not triple, the size of your standard salon suite. They I started with 7 rooms. We've actually renovated recently and added an eighth. And so it's just a place that people can come in and run their own business the way they see fit, but it has a lot more amenities than a typical salon studio where you just stay in your room, you wash your color bowls in your room. We have lockers, we have an entire color bar where we all come back and utilize our lockers and we mix color and we formulate together. So it's that salon family feel where we're not all separated, but we are, to where we can run our business, but we also come back and congregate, and it's the best of both worlds, really. And then on the second story, we actually put in an Airbnb type feel, short-term rental. So to utilize that space, and that's going really well. People are really loving the elevated experience that like these walls bring.
See, that is so cool. And I'm happy that you're sharing it because especially for the salon owners and the suite renters who are listening, you know, being creative pays off because you can see a space and have vision that nobody else sees. And you create this amazing success story that nobody really saw coming. So that's so incredible.
Oh, they definitely thought I was out of my mind when I bought this place. It was so ugly, but I could see it. I could see the end result. And someone asked me the other day if it turned out the way I thought it would, and I was like, it's better. It's so much, like, I can't even describe. It's just so good, so much better than I could have ever imagined it turning out.
I wish I could share photos through the speakers, but we can't do that, but that's okay. This space is absolutely beautiful, phenomenal. I can't wait to go visit Victoria Rose Studios. So what do you offer your clients that create just such a memorable experience with your location?
So immediately when you walk in, there is a seating area I have set up, and it's almost more of like a living room feel where you feel right at home, welcome. We have a scent diffuser that diffuses a scent throughout the building so that you kind of have that sensory experience when you walk in where you remember like, oh, okay, I'm home. And also just almost everybody walks in and they're like, I like breathing in here. We have check-in systems. Each stylist provides different amenities for their clients. I personally provide all different types of nice drinks and champagne, and we do charcuterie snack cups because my appointments are pretty lengthy. So something to tell them that we want them to be comfortable and happy while they're here.
Mm-hmm. So what common myth do you face every day about what you do behind the chair as a landlord, essentially, and just other things?
Behind the chair, the common myth would definitely probably be that it's a nowhere going career and you work yourself to death. As a landlord, I think probably the most common myth would be that we're just taking all the money and we're just raking it in, when in reality we give almost everything of ourselves and our finances back into our babies and our business. But I would say that's probably the most common one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the biggest struggle that you are facing right now? And this could be personal, professional, because our industry is so intertwined, right? So what's going on for you right now?
I would say my biggest struggle with opening all these new businesses, as much as I just love them and I love to be a part of it and I love what it does for other people, the hardest pill to swallow is that my career is no longer as about me as it used to be. And that sounds crazy because I opened a salon, right? But I really thought it was going to be like where I still continued to grow and thrive behind the chair and nurturing my first baby. But then I had the second baby, and I need to give attention to this second baby so it can thrive, but I feel like I'm depriving my first baby of giving it all the attention. But eventually they'll grow together. But right now, definitely the biggest struggle I'm having is dealing with the identity crisis of having to cut back behind the chair and focus on so many other things. It's time management. It's where am I best serving myself and all of my babies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, with all of these businesses, with owning a historic building, for um, really providing a stable environment for people, like, what do you want to be remembered for?
I think I'd want to be remembered for like, definitely, I want people to remember what I helped them with their career. I want to be remembered for the person that made a million female entrepreneurs and they all left at the end of the day with the fattest paycheck they've ever had, the best work-life balance, the best schedule. I basically changing lives inside the industry, changing
Mhm.
that stigma that held me back where they're like, you won't have any balance, you won't make any money. And instead of just showing them with myself, creating it for every single person I can.
That's so beautiful. So beautiful. I love that. So, what do you tell people who want to start their own business, or were in a position that you were at where you just felt confined? What do you tell them? How do you advise them?
My biggest advice would definitely look at all the different angles, and if they're feeling stuck and wanting the next thing, look inside your first business first. If you're feeling stuck inside the first one and you want it to be better, you I wouldn't suggest opening a salon to make it better because it's actually going to take away from it. But it wasn't that I felt so stuck in my career as I felt called to go out and do more, do different. I would say look inside your first business, but if you do choose to step in and follow a bigger dream, follow a different path, just understand that your life is going to change. I didn't fully understand that. I didn't understand how much take to give, like how much
Mm,
I thought I could just do it all. And
mhm.
there will be give and take, but breathe, you can do it. And the first jump's the hardest because it every single move I've made since then has gotten easier and easier.
Oh, that's so cool. What would you say has made it so much easier?
I think I it sounds crazy. I think I trust myself now. I think I think like the first one's like, can I do it? Can I do it? And now it's like I'll figure it out or I'll learn something from it. Either way, it's gonna be okay. It's just I think what's changed for me is probably self-confidence and just understanding that these big crazy tasks, while they're daunting and you have to work hard on them,
Mhm,
if you just put the thought and the love into it, it'll grow something. We If it
mhm.
grows into what you're wanting or if it grows into something else, it doesn't matter. Just roll with it. I think I don't know. My husband made that comment because we jumped into flipping rental houses too, and he was like, "Do you remember how terrified you were about buying this building, and now we're making this investment that's like three times?" And you're like, "Yeah, we'll figure it out." And I'm like, "Because we will." Like, just learning to understand and believe in yourself, I guess.
Yeah. Trusting the process no matter
Trusting
what
the process.
the outcome is. Yeah. Okay. So then what is something working in this industry with people that you feel like everyone needs to know? Like, what's the lesson that everyone, whether they're a beauty barber pro or a doctor, what is it that they need to know that they don't?
That okay. I would say that even though you made a choice and you spent a lot of time working on something, there's no reason you can't pivot. You're not stuck in what you chose to work on. So if you go to school for something and you've worked really hard, but you feel a calling another direction, you're not failing by shifting perspective. They ask us at 17, 18 to make a career choice. And I think people spend so much time learning that career that they don't feel they can really, or whatever in that instance, they don't feel like they can really venture out of it. But no matter at any point in time, you can pivot inside your career and your life and completely change it and do another hand. You never are truly stuck in one spot.
That's so good for you to say, because I know a lot of stylists, a lot of women, just in general, they just feel like, oh, this is it. This is what I've been doing my entire life. There's like, I'm done. And that's not the case. You can always try all the things. You can always change at any given time.
You can always throw your cards back and ask for 5 more.
Yeah. I love that. So what's one thing in your expertise that no one agrees with you about?
As far as the extensions or the salon,
Both, everything.
I wouldn't say like no one agrees, but I'd say it's a new way of thinking that that this industry, all about it, business, behind the chair and everything, it's directly customer service related. So like running studios and stuff, as hair operations, it's supposed to be a business transaction, but in reality, I truly believe if you make the forefront of every business the people inside of it, taking care of your people, taking care of your clients on a higher level, making them feel special, giving them support, understanding them, and not just seeing it as a business transaction, a dollar, it will thrive no matter what, because the people are what make it. And that could be my weak spot. That could be, think like wishful thinking, but I just truly believe when you focus on the people inside of any industry, you're going to thrive.
Yeah. So with that, and talking about relationships, which that was like a perfect segue into it, what have you learned about relationships, whether it's business relationships, personal relationships, romantic relationships? Like what has stuck out for you, and what have you learned from it all?
In relationships, I would say, I mean, one of the big things I've learned is that there is just this incredible support in the industry, and it's out there. And when you take that competition off the table and you view it as like a sisterhood, a family, the relationships tend to thrive. There's definitely kind of a stigma that salons can be very catty and competitional, but it doesn't have to be. And actually, the way I figured it out is even when I, checked my own ego and stopped being nervous about the stylist next to me and encouraged them, their relationships with me and themselves and everyone around them became so much more encouraging and uplifting. And I see the industry shifting that direction anyway, but I would say that's the biggest one. And if you believe in yourself, the supporters are there.
That's so beautiful. So let's really quickly just chat about investing in yourself, and even like with our coaching sessions that we've had, and just in general, how has investing in yourself been a total game changer for you, and why should people do that?
Total game changer, because if you're not focused on self-improvement, you can't give in back the way you need to. You can't pour from that empty cup. And there's never a time that I've thought I've paid extra money for a class and I've thought it was wasted money, or a salon coach. That was probably the best investment I could have made. That vacation, or just getting your hair and nails done for yourself, it just refuels you, and it allows you to come back not the dead, dampened version of yourself. It allows you to perform at ultimate level, but it's hard because we think it's selfish. And it's really not. If anything, it's helping those around you as well, because you are the best version of you.
Mm-hmm. When do you know that, like, for you yourself, that it's time to invest in yourself, to take a break, to just get rejuvenated? Like, what's the signal that happens for you?
When I no longer feel happy doing the things that make me happy.
Okay.
So when I love doing hair. I
Mhm.
love doing hair behind the chair. I love the transformations. But when I get to work and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to
Okay.
do this today. I have learned, check myself. What do I need? What do I need to do to get myself back? Because this isn't
Mhm.
how I actually feel right now. I'm just running on empty.
Okay, yeah, you see. Wow. How long is that process? Like, is this like a monthly thing? Is this like, oh, I've been working so great for 7 days, I need a break? Or like, how long does it take you to be like, oh, it's time?
So I'm definitely getting better on it. It used to be like 6 months and then I was about to implode. And then I'd be
Okay.
like, oh, yeah, maybe. And now I really try to do weekly check ins. And I've also learned I go out and I schedule a day or two a month that I know it's for me. And go do all the things I want to do. So I don't get to that point as much as I used to.
Mhm.
But I would say I try to do about a weekly check-in to
That's
see
so
where I'm at.
That's cool. What does this check-in look like for the people listening? Because do you journal it out? Do you have like a bullet list of like, did this, did this, did this? Or how do you check in with yourself? Because I know it's different for everyone.
Definitely, I have my bullet list of what I need to do. But I really go off of really just how I'm feeling at the time. It's hard because it's still something I'm true on, to be completely honest, it's
Mhm.
something I'm truly working on still.
Mhm.
I've gotten tenfolds better, but I would say it very much so just looks like I wake up and see what kind of energy I have going
Yeah.
into the day, into the week. And typically on Sundays, I sit down and do my list for the week and I see where my stopping point is and where I can schedule that me time in.
Yeah. And just for everybody listening, Victoria is married. She has several businesses, as you've been listening. She has the most cutest son ever. And she has a staff and she's doing all these things. And if she can do it, you can do it too. Like, it is possible. I think Victoria, you said before, like, it's all about time management.
All
Right?
about it.
Yeah. Okay, so we are coming towards the end of our chat today, but what's one question you wish I asked you, and how would you have answered?
Oh, that's a good one. Probably, that one might have stumped me there.
Okay.
Uh, One question I wish you would have asked.
Okay. Okay.
I'm like,
That's
oh
okay.
goodness.
That's okay. That's okay. So how can people, well, that's good for me. Like, I feel like I'm
Yeah,
a
I
really
feel like you
fabulous
covered all your
host.
bases.
I'm a great host. Thank you for the
Really
evilness.
are.
So how can people, like, how can they connect with you? How can they, like, what do you have going on right now that they can come and maybe work with you or visit or just pick your brains?
So actually it's pretty great. So as far as working with us, we have 9 stylists now in just 7 rooms. So we are actually very full, but we have our website. We've got an application to get on for a waiting list, and hopefully someday soon we'll have more locations. I take an assistant and I do shadow days for young stylists who just kind of want to come in and see. I love doing that. I love watching their light bulbs go off. We are on social media in all different areas between the loft, the studios, and my personal page. And then I actually have a page for some of the remodels we do. And I actually created, so I had a lot of studio owners because there's a ton of us out there and no support. So I was having other owners kind of reach out and be like, hey, I see you're kind of in the same situation as me. What would you do here? And I had that happen like 5 or 6 times and I loved it. So actually on Instagram, I created this little group chat with everybody who had reached out to me. And so we're all salon studio owners and we just kind of run through problems together. We brainstorm with each other. We, if we're having a problem, we see how the other person would handle it. So if anyone listening is a salon studio owner, we'd love to add you to that little group chat. It's intimate, but it is one of the most helpful tools I've found so far.
That is so cool. Are these owners like from all over the country or just
all over the United States?
Oh my God, Vic, that's so cool.
It turned out really well. It was just a one evening thought after I got off the phone with one of the studio owners that needed to vent. And I'm like, you need to talk to this person about that. Oh, that problem. I've talked to this person about that. And then I was like, why aren't we all talking? Let's all talk.
Oh my God. That's collaboration at its finest. That's networking. That's just showing how this industry, how we need each other.
We need each other. Real life experiences.
Totally. Okay. So how can people get in contact with you? How can they book the Airbnb? Like, where do people go to get in touch with you?
Definitely my website, the Victoria Rose Studios Instagram, Victoria Rose Hair Design is my personal Instagram, or the Loman Loft is our Airbnb. We have websites linked for all of those. Probably the easiest place to find us would be Instagram, but I run all of those pages. So messaging me on any of those platforms, you're gonna get back to me. So I would say definitely find us on Instagram and Facebook.
That's so cool. And the links are definitely going to be in the show notes. So make sure you check those out. And that is Victoria Loman. Thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me. I miss chatting with you.
I know, I miss you.
We're going to have to do this more often.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you everyone for listening, and check out the show notes and go check out Victoria Rose on Instagram. Thanks everyone. Thanks so much for listening to our chat. I hope you got an idea, a spark, something that moves you to go out and do something in your town, family, salon, spa, or barbershop. If you want to reach out to Victoria, work with her, or just network, check out this episode's show notes. If you loved this episode, subscribe to the BeautyPro podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to leave your reviews, stars, feedback so I can continue bringing the content you deserve and want most. Your feedback fuels this podcast. The more you give, the more you get back. You can follow me at The BeautyPro Coach on Instagram and Facebook. Want to contact me directly? Email me at befree@goldentruthcoaching.com.